What up, everybody? My name is Maestro Stevens with Iconic Templates. And in this video, I want to share with you a way that you can build a community on WordPress. But also, let's talk about why you probably should not build a community on WordPress and the alternatives that will allow you to do so. So right now, you are looking at a community-based platform that is not built with WordPress, okay? This community-based platform is not built with WordPress, and this is a platform called Circle. It's a very popular platform, and it gives you the ability to create different, we'll say, topics or subjects of conversations. I forgot what they call their terminology here, but you can have different groupings and then spaces within those groupings that are usually conversations or topics or discussions, right? Based on different subject matters or different reasonings. And then they also have this top menu here that we can see that if I was logged in, I would be able to see the events. They also have courses here, and then they have a leaderboard as well too. So this is just some of the basic features or basic nuances of this community. We're talking about a way where people can have discussions and they can make their own posts. Again, this is a platform called Circle. Then we have an alternative platform that's also not using WordPress when it comes to hosting. It's not using WordPress when it comes to the structure at all. There's nothing WordPress associated with this. And this is called Skool. And this was what I believe an answer to the complexity that Circle can sometimes bring. So Skool created a way that was more simplified to be able to have a community in a more simplified way. And that's what I like about Skool is there's only so many things you can do, but it still has the fundamental features that you would see in Circle or any general community building platform. They have a way you can have courses as well too. They call it the classroom. Then they have members. Then they have the leaderboard feature and their about section. And this is just typical Skool structure, how you would build your community. Skool with a K to be specific. And so here you can already see there's some similarities between the two. Other than me being in dark mode with one, I don't think Skool has dark mode yet, but they both have a very similar structure. That's the main thing I want you to be able to understand is they both have a very similar structure. And what I like about these two platforms is that they are fast, they're performance driven, and they have really good, how do I say, way for you to be able to build your community independently of using third-party tools. Now you can integrate third-party tools, but you can build your community straight with these platforms in an easy way. Again, I said that Circle has more flexibility than Skool, but if you just want to set up the fundamentals, Circle can be very easy for you to do so. And these are ways for you to build your community off of WordPress using a software as a service. Now, the other way is using a social media platform that's already built, such as a Facebook group. So these are things that you got to think about. Is it worth it to build your community on another platform, even if it's on a social media network? Or is it better if you're a WordPress user, is it better for you to build your community on WordPress? There's reasons why you want to go one way or the other, and you just have to see what fits your budget, what fits your time scale, what fits your capacity, your resource capacity, right? And then there's WordPress. Now, for the most part, when it comes to WordPress, there has been two ways, again, for the most part, up until now, there's been two main ways in order for you to build your community. There are multiple ways, but I'm talking about two main ways. The first way is going to be through a platform called BuddyPress, and I would say using BBPress. So BuddyPress is how you can build this social aspect of your community, right? Profiles, groups, activity streams, private messaging. That's the way you do it with BuddyPress. And then when you tack on BBPress, and people get confused all the time, they think that these are the same plugins, and they're not. They're totally different plugins. But then when you combine BBPress, you have the ability to create forms right? So when I hear people use the word community, they are using so many different processes into one lump sum and calling it community. And these different processes can be different plugins, let alone different systems at times. And this is one thing I see people consolidate often, especially who use WordPress, is they are talking about, in some terms, when they say community, the form aspect of it, but they're not talking about the social aspect. And then sometimes it's the opposite. They're talking about the social aspect, but they're not talking about the form aspect of it. And then the other one would be membership. You know, when they think about community, they talk about because we say the word members, we talk about membership, like using a membership plugin. And that's another system or process. And I see people confuse this so much. They say the word community, they think it means all the things in one, and it does not. But it can house or consolidate all of those things into one, to which we call community. So that's just something for you guys to really think about and understand. Just starting there, this was, or this still is, the, how do I say, the old school, or you can call it the grandfather's way of building a community, using BuddyPress and then even tacking on BBPress and then building your community that way. However, you do need to understand a lot more of the nuances of WordPress in order to go in this direction, because it's going to take you some time to style this and to set this up in a way that is a lookalike, and you probably won't even get that close, if you don't know what you're doing, to a Circle or a Skool. So I'm just using these as benchmarks. They're not the thing I'm saying you have to use or you should be using, but these are the benchmarks of creating a community outside of WordPress. There are many others. There's Mighty Networks, Kajabi, and other things that people use. But these are what I would say are the benchmarks so far: Skool, Circle, and Facebook groups. Then from there, again, WordPress, we have BuddyPress and BBPress. And then from BuddyPress and BBPress came BuddyBoss. So just like how when I said from Circle came Skool, because Circle came first, and I'm very sure that the creators of Skool looked at Circle and other platforms and were like, okay, we like the best of these worlds. Let's take this and let's make our own version of that. That's what everybody seems to be doing these days, and there's nothing wrong with it. That's what happens when, you know, you are the first at bat. You're an innovator versus somebody who's kind of repurposing. They're still innovating in ways, but they're not the first to market with that particular idea or style. So Skool came from Circle. I'm not knocking Skool. I think Skool's a great platform. And then from BuddyPress and BBPress came BuddyBoss. And BuddyBoss is a way more good looking, or is a better looking way of creating your community on WordPress specifically, that gives you that Skool-like feel or that Circle-like feel, but it does come at it as a price. It comes at as a price. BuddyPress and BBPress, they are free. So what comes at a price is all the nuances and the extensions that you're going to use and the time you're going to spend setting it up yourself or paying somebody else. Whereas BuddyBoss is not free. The BuddyBoss platform plugin is free. But if you really want to get the 100% of BuddyBoss that you probably want to get, you're going to be going with the web right here. And it does have an app, as you just seen, but we're not going to even go there. If I hit this, it's going to go down to the price. You're going to want to get the pro and the theme. This is what you're going to want to get. If you're going to use BuddyBoss, you're going to want to use the pro and the theme. Most people are not going to just use the platform, because that means you have to create your own theme. And with this, it has the same kind of nuances that you see when it comes to Circle. So for instance, well, you can see the pictures. You can check this out yourself. But on the left-hand side, we have stuff. The top side, we have stuff. We have a profile. Here, left-hand side, we have spaces or rooms, whatever you want to call them. The top-hand side, we have navigation. Skool, we have the navigation here. They decided not to have left-hand. So if you notice, there is no sidebar here on the left. That's something that's a little bit different for Skool. But you can see BuddyBoss is doing that exact same thing, right? Where you have navigation at the top, you have certain chat rooms or certain groups or spaces, whatever you want to call them. And then on the right-hand side, there's another sidebar as well too. And then you can connect to people. But BuddyBoss comes at a hefty price of $300 a year. I would say for most people that you're going to be spending. And if you know how to, if you want to use your own theme and you're willing to set your own theme up and do all the styling, then maybe you only need the Platform Pro. But I would say that's not most people. Most people are going to want to use their theme because out the box, it has this look and feel that you would want, that looks like a Facebook group or looks like a circle. If you're not going to use their theme, you got to build this look and feel yourself. So that's something key. I just want to make sure you know that that's key. Now, introducing, and this is where I'm excited to share with you all, because I believe that this new platform, this new plugin, this new tool is the best of both worlds when it comes to either a Buddy Press, BB Press type of thing mixed with a Buddy Boss, or you can say a Circle mixed with a Skool, except we're able to do this with WordPress, natively on WordPress using a plugin. And it's called Fluent Community. And Fluent Community currently is in beta, but maybe when you watch this video, it's out of beta. However, even in beta right now, it's fully baked with so many different features, and it's very, very stable. And it's almost ready for, if it's not ready, if people aren't already using it on their production site. However, I always caution using beta plugins on production sites. But when things are so done, when things are done very well, I would say that it's not a bad idea to be the first to bat in that situation. But right now, they're eating their own dog food, drinking their own Kool-Aid, because the company behind Fluent Community is using Fluent Community right now as we speak. And that is WP Managed Ninja. So shout outs to them for doing what they do. What I like about this is that it's, first of all, I already have the choice of switching from light mode to dark mode very easily. To some people, they may not care about that. To me, that could be a maker or a breaker on how I use a tool, because I don't always want this light mode, especially when I'm looking at computers for a long period of time, or you looking at a device. Dark mode definitely helps my eyes. I think it helps other people's eyes out there as well. So for me, it's become fundamental when it comes to using a platform or a tool. Then, as you can see, we have a sidebar, left sidebar, we have a top navigation, and we have a right sidebar here. And that's already letting you know there's some familiarity when it comes to the way that they've created this. They did not come before Skool, Circle, or Buddy Boss, or BB Press, or Buddy Press. So they have the opportunity of learning from either the mistakes or the successes that these other platforms have used to say, hey, this is how we want to do this, and we want to do it our way. There's nothing wrong with that, because everybody else does that as well too. And I just have to put that out there, because I know there will be some people out there, somebody out there that says this looks like that, or that looks like this, or they're copying this, or they're copying that. And you would be a hypocrite if you said that. And you're in business, or you work for a job, or you do anything besides just nothing, you'd be a hypocrite, because we're all repurposing things. It's just the way that we do it. And do we admit to it? It's one thing if we're saying, no, we're not repurposing things. It's another thing we're saying, yes, we are, but I'm doing it this way or that way. So let's just start that right there. That's why this has familiarity, is because, as you can see, if Circle and Skool had a baby, it would be Fluent Community, because it's very similar to the two. It's very similar, right? I think that more than anything, but it has its own nuances to it. Now, what I've done is I've created a staging site and did some setup, so that way I can show you all things I've been playing around with and what I like about it. But I wanted you to see right now, if you go to community.wpmanagedninja.com/portal, you can have access to this, and then you can download, if you sign up here, you can download the beta plugin and then also get access, or get early access to their lifetime deal, that their launch deal. I believe they're doing a lifetime launch deal. So you can sign up and get access to that. But more importantly, you can come in here and you can ask questions. You can see what people are talking about. This helps give you feedback or ideas of what you may want to do or may not want to do, besides you watching this video itself. All right, so what I've done here is I have created a staging site using InstaWP, and this is my go-to tool when it comes to a lot of things, whether it's creating a staging site, a demo site, doing my hosting, doing practice. InstaWP is definitely my go-to tool. It's a Swiss Army knife when it comes to doing these type of things. Now, I've already set up some plugins just to show you. And the main plugin that has, all the main parts of everything that I'm doing here is Fluent Community. However, I've added some extensions to it so I can show you all some other things too on how you may want to go about your workflow. I'm just giving you ideas, folks. This is not a tried and true situation. This is things that I've been playing with and I have been testing out myself just to see what I can do, what are the limitations, what's the flexibility like, and share with you all some ideas as well too. I'm going to do more videos on this platform moving forward. Don't worry. We're going to do deeper videos, deeper things, but this is just ideas in general. So Fluent Community, as you can see, is here. And then we have some other plugins from the WP Managed Ninja family for like Fluent Forms, FluentCRM, that kind of stuff, right? But anything else is pretty much irrelevant for the most part in this demonstration that I'm giving you now. What I like about Fluent Community is clicking this button, it's going to take you into the Fluent Community interface. There are no settings if I click this button, but I'm not going to click this button. I'm going to open it in a new tab because I want to keep my admin area open here. So I just opened up in a new tab, and as you can see, I'm now logged in to Fluent Community. I'm here in the back end. And that's one thing. Let's just start there. That's not the same thing that you're going to get from BuddyBoss. When you are using BuddyBoss, especially when you're using the BuddyBoss platform, the plugin here, right? You can look for BuddyBoss in the back end, but when you're using BuddyBoss, you're going to be doing a lot of the settings from your WordPress admin area. You're not doing the settings directly from inside of the interface area. I'm just going to call it the interface area for now because I don't have another word for it. So you're not doing the settings from here. You are doing the settings from back here, right? So if I added BuddyBoss on here, it would be when I click the button like settings, for example, you would see more settings here and I would be able to do stuff from there. That's how it works when it comes to BuddyBoss. With Fluent Community, the settings are right here, right inside the platform. So let's just go over the settings and then I'm going to walk you through a little bit of my testing workflow just so I can show you, what I've done so far. So first of all, I've already set up some groups and some spaces here and a link. And I did that from the settings area. So from the settings area, we have we have the feature for putting our logo for here. And then we can say whether or not we want to give everybody access to this community or only logged in users to the community right here. And this is a notice. So if I said, this is your final warning, not saying you will want to say that, but say I said that, you're going to see this on the feed spot, or you're going to see this in the feed when I refresh. Now that's something that I did notice, and I'm not sure that's going to change. There's a difference between you doing a refresh within the interface and then doing a hard refresh of the page. I noticed that there are some times where I would do a refresh, or maybe it's not called a refresh, but I would go to another part, like a space here or courses here, and the update that I made wasn't quite there. It was only when I refresh this here, now you see that notice. So again, I'm not sure if that's just a normal feature that's going to be throughout the life of the plugin, or if that's just, a bug in the beta or something that they're just going to have to add. So that's something key there for you to notice. Let's go back to the settings, and then I can delete this final warning here. I click save, and then when I refresh the platform, I'm going to do a hard refresh. I go to feed, it's not there. So that's just a site-wide notification when you want to tell everybody something in your community. Then from there, we also have managers. I've added some managers here. I've added some fake members. I'm going to get to that in a second, but I've added some fake members here. I'm going to continue to do so. So if we go to members over here, you can see there are some dummy or demo members, just so I can show you all some things. I'm going to go back to settings. And I added one of those members as a manager, so as a moderator. So I've made them a moderator here as a community moderator because you always need that. I made myself a admin. Most people are probably going to use admin for themselves, maybe your partner, somebody else, and then community moderators. I can see most people doing that. Course admin and course creators, that may be more of a niche based thing, because if you don't have a course, well, those are irrelevant, right? So I can see more people using community admin, community moderator for the most part. You can delete them and then you can edit as I just did right there. Then they have email notifications. I can't wait till they get more features within the settings, because this is going to be very important, especially since there are no push notifications right now as of the recording of this video. And that's one thing that is different. So I got to go back to why you may or may not want to use a community with WordPress or use this specific tool, because right now there is no app for it. There's no native app for it. Where there is an app for Circle, if I'm not mistaken, there is an app for Skool, and even Buddy Boss has an app itself, right? So you can really integrate into people's devices, their phones, their tablets and their phones. That's the biggest thing, and I cannot express that more than what I'm expressing it right now, is how important that is in these days. Because if it's just a website or a platform where you have to log in through the browser on a computer, browser on your tablet, a browser on your desktop or your laptop, or a browser on your phone, I believe that's going to take away from some returning users. That's my theory. It would take away from the returning user ratio. You would have new users coming in because people are interested, when they want to learn something new or know something new, but will they return if you're not integrated into their native workflow process or their native behaviors? And I believe that push notifications or notifications from devices are huge now, more than anything. Emails, so many things can get lost in the shuffle with emails. It's so easily for things to get lost in the shuffle with emails. And email is great. I think an email is a great backup. It's great double down. But the first thing should be that notification, whether it's a push or a badge or whatever those terms are called. It should be that first. Then the email should be the double down, right? The backup or the redundancy. That's just my opinion, but at least they have this right now. And I'm sure they're going to be adding more things to it. So we have email on a new comment, we have email on tagging, and then we have whether you want people to get a digest, right? It could be every day, basically a summary of all the activities happening inside the platform, or every Monday or Tuesday, et cetera, et cetera. Then we have features. So with features, these are the features that you would see in the other platforms that, for instance, have modular features, have them baked right in, but you have the ability to be able to turn them on and off. That's the way that I want to say it. And so we have the leaderboards module. That's where this comes in. If I turn this off, we should no longer see. I'm going to say the settings here. And see, it's no longer there. So that's how easy that works. If you just check this box here and you click save, that's how easy it is to turn on and off some of the features. We have user badges. This is something that I have on as well too. So these right here, I learned that you do the user badges through the profile itself. So once you create the user badge, create a title for it. I created mod as an example and made the colors show badge. So label on badge here. And then I created admin. So these weren't here before I created them. I created them myself. So I created admin. I could technically add a emoji if I wanted to add here. So let's just say admin. I'm just going to check this right here. Boom. Now admin has this little emoji by it. I'm just going to save again just in case. And then if I go to members, you'll see that we have the badge here. See how we have the badge here? And then we have the badge here. So what I've done is I first made these two people managers. And just because you make them a manager, it doesn't mean it adds a badge automatically. That's something that I'm hoping there's more nuance or integration to that part, how you can connect those. But for right now, first you need to add the role, right? And you see that I can't add any new roles. I can add a new manager. I can select the user. So say I want Flip Doe to be a course admin. Now Flip Doe is a course admin. So Jane Doe is a moderator. Flip Doe is a course admin. All right. So that's how that works. That is separate, right? That is separate from the badges. And that's something that I wanted you all to understand because I had to find that out myself. So here are the badges. And so I created badges that would mirror, do a little bit of a mirror of the managers or the moderator, right? The managers part. And so that's why I created a mod, stand for moderator, and then the admin for admin. And then the way that I added them was, I'm gonna go back to members. And I know I'm a little bit all over the place, but hey, that's what this video is for. It's for me to just get it out. I was like, I just got to get it out, all the ideas out of my head. Then I'll create more structured videos in the future about this. But I needed to get these ideas out of my head and just share with you all what I learned. So when you edit the profile of a member, you have the name, the website. What I like about this is they give you a lot of different fields to add information to. Right here, you can mark the account as verified. So that's another badge. So that's a badge type. I know it's not the badge feature, but it's a badge type, right? So you can mark this account as verified. Here's a username. And this is where you associate those badges that you made. This is when you associate those badges right here to a person. Now, this is something I definitely want to be automated in some way. Like when I add a user to the community, which I'm going to share with you, how you can do that. When I add a user to a community, can I automatically give them a badge? Or if I make somebody a moderator or a manager of some sort, can I automatically give them a badge? Do I have to do this manually every time? That's something that I want to know in the future. But that's how you do that. So for instance, if I go back to member, and who do we say? We said Flipdo. Oh, Flipdo's not even a member. That's good. I can make Flipdo a member. So it's interesting how Flipdo is not a member, but Flipdo, I was able to make a manager, which is interesting. And this is something that I'm sharing with you all because I just seen that myself. Okay, all right. So I wonder if that is supposed to work like that, if you're able to do that, or if not. Now, Flipdo is a user on WordPress. So that's another thing too. You cannot bring anybody in this community. So let me now reverse and go backwards. You cannot bring anybody in the community unless they are a user of WordPress. I'll repeat that. You cannot bring anybody in the community unless they are a user of WordPress. So they have to, their email has to match the email here in the community. So that's why you see Flipdo, I was able to add him as a manager here. That's because Flipdo is already a user on WordPress. Now there's many ways you can make a person a user on WordPress. You can add them manually, that you can have them sign a form, fill out a form, many ways. But unless they're a user in WordPress, they will not be added to the community. Just because they're a user in WordPress doesn't mean they're in your community. As you can see, I'm in members. I don't see Flipdo. Let's go to pending. Flipdo ain't even pending. If I go to search members, I put Flip, enter, no members, but yet Flipdo is definitely a manager, right? Some type of manager, a course admin right here. So that's something for you all to notate because I just notated that right now as we speak. I'm going to go back and get into the whole how you get people in here, but let's continue with some of these settings here. So as I mentioned, email notifications, features, we are now on the course module. So that's where this courses come from. If I turn this off, you would not see it. Settings are pretty self-explanatory. Enable it or don't enable it right there. But as far as the course is concerned, you can see the courses here, but you manage them from manage courses here. And this is where you manage your courses. So right now I have a course here. If I want to add a new course, I click this button and I fill this information out, but I already have a course, just a sample course. And when I do set this up on the official Iconic Templates website, we will have Start Fresh on WordPress, the free course, and then we're also going to do the official paid course in the community as well too. So the free course will be for everybody. The paid course will be for paid users. It's just that simple. But when it comes to courses, you can add lessons and sections. So first you add a section, and then you add lessons in sections. What I notice is on the section level, right? So we can add here, edit title. You can edit the title here, right? And then edit lesson content. You can edit the lesson content, edit the title of the lesson, all that stuff here. Let me show you something that I did learn, and you can decide to publish it or draft it however you want to do it. But in terms of the sections are concerned, if I edit this course, you can see how this enrollment, self-pay, structured schedule, this part will apply to the sections if I'm not mistaken. So this right here, after you name your course, you add a description to it, decide whether or not it's public or private or secret. The enrollment type does affect something else on the section level, if I'm not mistaken. So for structured, I'm going to save changes. And then here, okay, we have edit lesson. Nope, go back. Oh, nope. Hold on, we might have to pause. Oh, yeah, schedule. Okay. So here we have the schedule. Notice how I have the schedule part here, and that's on the section itself, not on the courses. So when we're dripping content out and we say we want this person to take the course, take this part of the course immediately, but then this other part, maybe 2 days later, maybe the second lesson or part 2, they can only take it 2 days later or 3 days later. That's where this part comes in. How many days after they enroll? And that's on the section level. So if you're thinking about doing that for every lesson, if I were you, I would say the strategy should be 1 section per lesson. So you would say, you know, lesson 1 as a section, call lesson 1, and then actually make lesson 1 inside of here. You would add new lesson right here, lesson 1. Then for lesson 2, you would say add lesson, and you call it lesson 2. Right here. So save as draft, go back, then have lesson 2. So let's get rid of lesson 2 here. And there we go. That's if you wanted every lesson to be on its own day of being dripped. That's the way that it's set up right now. Currently, they may change that in the future, but I've noticed that the schedule only happens on the section level, not the lesson level. So whatever you do with this part right here is going to affect your sections. If I go to self-paced, I click Save Changes, I go back. Notice there is no schedule. That's because when a person takes this course, they could take all the lessons at any point in time. That's what that's for. So hopefully that makes sense as far as deciding whether or not you want to have the self-paced or the structured version of a course when you actually create a course, or if you want it to be scheduled. I'm sure when I update this, right, and I refresh, we're going to see schedule here. See? And it's on the section level, not the lesson level. So just keep in mind that's key here. And then as far as like editing the lesson itself, it's simple. Right now you can only add YouTube video if I'm not mistaken. You have enable video embed feature, enable comment, so if you want people to comment. And then the way that you create your course, they have these, it's similar to Gutenberg, creating in the WordPress editor where you can add your image, heading. You only have so many that you can use so far. But for the most part, this is pretty good. Being able to add your content here. It's super simple. So I'm trying to give you guys the impression that it's not complicated right now. I want to edit the media. Okay, so here we go right here. I forgot that you can add Vimeo and Wistia. So you can add other things, but right now it can only be a link right there or a custom add video from a custom HTML code. And they're continuing to add more features because I don't believe this was always here. So you can still do that. That's dope right there. I'm going to go back and let you know that's how you manage courses. So back to settings, features. We have the Giphy module if you wanted to add that. I'm not adding that because that has you make an account with Giphy. It's pretty self-explanatory and to connect those. Then you can add emojis. That's how you saw me add an emoji earlier, but you can add emojis for posts. You can have a media storage. I would not advise this for most people, but if you want people to be able to upload media and you store them locally, you can do that. Then we have a welcome message for public users. Self-explanatory. When a person joins, you can enable a welcome box. Enable it or disable it. And this is what it will say right here. Now, here's the thing that I'll show you here in a second. I've added a custom URL so that way I can create a custom registration page experience. Because right now, if you did not do that, it would use the default URL. So I created a custom one. And I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. Then we have Fluent Community Chat. So the feature for that is going to be this feature here to add a chat. So if I go back to the Fluent Community itself, this feature right here, once you add that plugin, or yeah, it is a plugin, so that extension of that plugin, it'll add this part right here. And then you can add those also to your discussions. So that's the chat right there. And then we have FluentCRM, Fluent Forms, and then there are other products as well too. And so this is where I'm going to share with you all how some of those things come in play. First, let me show you the groups. So in order to make the space groups here, I have get started, and then I made this is the group, and then this is the space. So the spaces are inside of groups. So there's 2 groups, 4 spaces. I have a space that says all members, gold members, and start fresh on WordPress. And with this space right here, I have everything put in here. I made this public. That's a key thing. Do you want your spaces to be public, private, or secret? What group is it in? So remember, I only have 2 groups. It's in the members area for right now. I have these features on right here. It's going to be a timeline, not a list. I can enable group chat for this. So right now, because it's a public space, I said, no, I'm not going to do group chat for that. Let's just pretend like since it's free for the public, we're not going to do group chat for that. And then I can add the image. I have not added the images yet, but you guys can imagine adding the photo image, the thumbnail, right, for the space. That's how that space, and then you can add space links as well too, but I haven't done so. Now that's for that space. Now, for when it comes to the gold members, this is private. By customized settings, this is private right here, and then default lock screen. And then you see default lock screen right here. And then allow users to request to join this space. So you cannot request to join this space because it's private. But for the all members space, you can request to join this space. So, oh, well, nope, this is public. You don't need to have that on there. But if I want to change it to private, I can. You would see that this checkbox comes in. But for public, there's no reason for it. Because it's public. People should be able to just join the space default. I'm guessing that's why that is. That is space groups. And then you have the menu as well too. You can see the menu here is this. And then the profile menu is going to be right here. You can easily add a new link. Now, the one thing I did notice is that these are links. They're not like new pages, so keep that in mind. When you add something, you're adding a custom link, and you can enable this link, and then you can have it open up in a new tab or the same tab. I think most people are probably going to have it open up in a new tab, if I'm not mistaken, for the most part. But once you add a new link, it appears up here, and then you can decide to turn it on or off. So for instance, I added alerts, and you don't see it here because it is off. It's disabled. But if I enable this link, click save, and I refresh this, because you see it's not there yet. Now you see alerts right here. And this would be a custom link going off the page. You can also add links here. So if you're wondering how do I create this link here, that's where this comes from right here. So if you were to create a new link, add new link, you would add new link here. And then you can enable it and disable it right here. That's what I do like about that. You can decide to disable the link if you want to. Now you won't see it on this side here. That simple. And so this part is it's the menu settings, the menu over here, and over here. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory for the most part. And those are your settings. Let's go back and refresh. I noticed that sometimes when you click settings, it doesn't always refresh back. So we went over the general, we went over managers, we went over email notifications, features here, space groups, and menu settings right here. Now, let me show you what I've kind of done and the things I'm playing with. Oh, notice too that they have this banner. Now I'm hoping that they allow you to do something with this, because I noticed that it always says 50% no matter how much is done. And that would be pretty annoying to not make that a choice. But I would definitely say for a lot of people to have their first name, you definitely don't want people in your community, for the most part, that don't have a name associated with it. A picture I would say is necessary too, but at least a name associated with it. And then I wonder how we can automate, or are we going to be able to automate this, mark the account as verified? We definitely need some way to automate this so that if a person fills out so much of their profile, or does a certain thing, that we can mark it as verified. But right now, it is what it is. So let's go back home. I'm gonna get through this last part and then wrap it up. As I mentioned before, you cannot add people to your community that are not users in WordPress. And that's the first thing that I was always thinking. So when it comes to community features is access. Like before anything else gets put into play, like performance, courses, integrations, profiles, feeds, these are things that I was just sharing with you right now. How do people get in your community? What's the main way that the people can get in? And that's what I'm thinking about when it comes to building your marketing funnels and your sales funnels, is how do you allow people to get into your community? And the way that I noticed that they do it is using their default login or registration area. So for instance, if I were to do WP Managed Portal here, if I was not logged in, I'm going to copy this, go to an incognito window. And because this community is open to the public, I am able to see this. Now, if I go to, like, for instance, any of these different spaces, it's going to say log in or sign up. Now you're wondering maybe you're wondering, maybe not. Again, why am I able to see this right here? You're able to see this because if I go to settings and it says the portal access, if this was on logged in users only, it would be you would have a login page, or a login page that you would have to have, right? And people wouldn't be able to see anything. It would just, unless you're logged in, you can't see the community. They're going to ask you to log in, and what page is that going to be? But if it's open to everybody, that's when you're able to see the community. So I'm going to do the same thing for this right here. I'm going to go to portal. I'm going to put logged in users only. And let's go to this incognito. And notice that you see a registration page. So that's what happens when you're not logged in. If I click this, what happens? Same thing, a registration page, except they have SSO. Now I'm hoping that we get to have something like this too, because I'm wondering how we can build a very similar experience. Log in with Google, GitHub, or email. That'd be really nice. Here you just have email and password. Now this says log in. This doesn't say register. That's another key thing too. This says log in. It does not say register. If I were to do everyone, save it, go back here. Let's see if I refresh the portal. And now you can see inside the community. That's a huge thing right there, is being able to see inside the community when you hit everyone. That way people can get a sneak peek, but then they're also incentivized to log in or to sign up. Now, this is something that it's not the same thing. Logging in is not the same thing as signing up. So we have to find out, okay, how do we sign them up? Because even though it says log in or sign up, what I've done is created a custom landing page using, or a custom login, or a sign up, I would say a custom sign up using Fluent Forms. That's why you see this. This is custom using Fluent Forms. This is not using their login sign up form. I'm gonna just show you what I did real quick. What I did was I created a form. I just call it community register form here. As you can see, if I edit this, it's super simple. I didn't want to make this look all polished. I just wanted to give you the concept. So I made this form here, and I also set some integrations. Now I'm using Fluent Forms Pro, and I'm using Fluent Forms CRM Pro in order to do some of the things I'm doing here. So just keep that in mind too. And what I've done was I've created tags, created some tags. I've created a list here. And I've also created an automation, enroll in community. So anytime somebody is tagged here, it'll add them to now here's the thing. I hope that they do change this and let us do multiple instead of just choosing one, because right now, if I go back, they can only get into here. this area here. Say what's up. So they're hello. To get started, hello. It only lets you go into there. So keep that in mind too. It doesn't let you subscribe to everything in the group, just the one space. So it is kind of interesting that it says community here, which is not true because the whole thing is community. It should say space. I'm sure they'll change that later, but this is space, not even group. I'm hoping that they will allow you to do a group or multiple groups in multiple spaces, not just one at a time. Because if that's the case, that's going to get cumbersome that we have to make multiple ones. See right here, I have this one and I have this one. I haven't enrolled to two different spaces. The gold members community and then all members. So if we go here, I have gold members right here, all members, and then the say what's up. But that's how I've done that here. All right. So that's key right there. So automation is created. When somebody gets tagged with here, it's going to start running and it's going to add a person. Now, the only way that this actually works is if that same person is also a user. Remember, it will not add, I've already tested it. It will not add a person to this community just because somebody is tagged through Fluent CRM. They have to be a user in your community. So how do we do that? That's what we have Fluent Forms Pro for. Because if I go back to settings, first I'll go to integrations and show you that on integrations, when it comes to Fluent Forms Pro, you have user registration. So not only will you be able to tag somebody using their Fluent CRM native integration here, I can tag somebody, I can also create a user in WordPress. And that's where the magic behind creating your own access process or workflow, at least for now, till it gets flushed out more with Fluent Community. This is the way I would do it. And so I would turn this on here. I would turn Fluent CRM right there. Then go back to Forms. I'm going to go to settings so you can see my settings. And this is what I did. I got this custom URL right here. And what I did was I took this URL here and then I put this inside of right here. So inside this configure welcome screen, this URL right here, when somebody's going to log in right here, this URL is this landing page. This could be any page. I just didn't feel like doing a whole bunch of other things. So I had the plugin make a landing page for me that has this form on it. So this URL I took and added it right here to use a custom URL when it comes to this configure welcome screen. That's key. And then this URL right here is the URL of the actual portal, the actual website itself. This URL is the URL of the community right here. So that's that. So you see that we have that URL. And then when it comes to configure integrations, I have on Fluent CRM. And I have it to where when somebody gets added to this list, I have it to where add that person who fills out the form to this list, add their email here, match their email, match their first name and their last name. And that's pretty much it. And enable for subscribe for right now. I click save. Oh, and the contact. So I add a tag to it right here, member level 1. So that's that integration. And then when it comes to user registration, super simple. Use that same email, first name, last name, so everything is the same, as a subscriber. You don't need anything else, so you can add them as a subscriber. Allow them to auto log in. So after somebody registers, you can make that choice. Sometimes you don't. You may want to do a auto login. Sometimes you may want them to opt in, to do a double opt-in. It's up to you, or and you can send the default WordPress welcome email, or you can send your own email. It's up to you. I'm just giving you the concepts and the basics. So I would click that button there. So now we have 2 integrations from one form. When a person fills out the form, I'm going to show you here, it's going to add them to my email marketing tool, which so happens to be Fluent CRM. It's also going to make them a user in WordPress. Going to create them as a user in WordPress. So 2 things happen. They're in my email marketing tool, and they become a user in WordPress. Now, when they get into my email marketing tool, that's when an automation will run. And as long as they're added to one of these tags, they'll be entered into the community. That's a key thing there. So I'm going to show you an example. Remember how I said Flip is not a member in the community at all, yet somehow he's able to be a manager, which is really interesting. I'm going to go here, go back to contacts, and look at Flip. We have Flip here. Let's add Flip as a member level 3. Just do member level 3, for example, and confirm. Now with this, you don't have to click update contact. I noticed that once you add a list or a tag, it automatically saves. Like, so you don't even have to create update contact like you're filling out information here. If I go back here and go to members, we see Flip. And we can see that if I go to the automations, you can see the reports. Boom. Flip was added to the community and enrolled in courses. So if I actually go back to users, and this is where that a plugin called user switching. So if I go to plugins real quick, user switching, that's the plugin I'm using right now. So all users, and I'm going to switch to Flip right here. So now I am Flip. I'm technically Flip. So if I refresh this, I'm looking at it from Flip. Notice there's no settings here, and I have access. See, but I didn't get access to this. I didn't give access to that in the automation. And I didn't give access to the course too. That's why this is locked. But I do have access to say what up and all members. And we can see I'm currently logged in. You see this green here? I'm logged in. I can edit my profile, but notice how I can't add verification or anything like that. That's a manager. So if I go in and I say, okay, let's switch to, I meant to say admin, I said manager. Let's switch to Jane. Now I should be Jane. So now I'm Jane. Let's see if I'm Jane. Nope. Still Flip. Hold on. Let me switch to Jane. Let me switch to Jane. Oh, you know what? This is one thing about the plugin. You got to switch back before you switch. You got to switch back to the admin. All right, there we go. That's one thing about the plugin, because that got me a lot of times. So making sure you switch back to the admin before you switch to somebody else. Now I am Jane. You have to make sure. Boom. Now I'm Jane. So let's see if I can edit Flip stuff. Nope. So I guess the admins can't even edit other people's things, because technically I am supposed to be an admin, but I can manage the settings. Nope. I can't do that either. So interesting. I'm learning something new. But it does let me see the settings, but it's saying error. So I wonder what the admin can do. Because you all saw that this is supposed to be an admin here. Oh no, this is a moderator. My bad. I'm underneath admin. She's underneath a moderator. That makes sense. So let's switch back to Maestro. Refresh this. Let's make Jane an admin. So I got to go to settings, manager, Jane, admin. And then let's give Jane, I wonder if it happens to that. Yep. Okay, now let's give Jane a, I'm going to go back. Let's see. So it means we have to change Jane's badge, right? That's why I said I hope that we can do this manually, automatically, because this will be annoying. So change admin here, update profile. Let's mark Jane as account verified. Boom. Now if I go back to switch to Jane, keep that open because I want to click, I need that button to switch back. I hate that it doesn't do that. All right, so now I'm Jane. Okay, so now I see set up. Let's see. Still, it doesn't let me. Interesting. but I am Jane right here. Yeah, it's interesting. So just learn something new. Just learn something new. I'm sure this will get changed because I keep seeing the error. You're not allowed to do that. And it's like, well, what's the purpose of calling somebody an admin if they don't have admin-like capabilities? Unless it's a situation where they have to be an admin back here in WordPress, right here. See, and that's the thing too, like how this works as far as that is concerned. Because right now, this person is a subscriber in WordPress, but they're an admin in Fluent Community. They're an admin Fluent Community, but they're a subscriber in WordPress. So do both of those have to be the same? I don't know. We'll find out soon. But that's the workflow that I wanted to share with you all. And just to test it real quick, so let's go to that landing page so that way you all see. You see we have Billy Bob, we have me, we have Flip Doe, Jane Doe, John Doe. You just saw me easily change. Oh, I forgot. Switch back to Maestro. All right. So then you just saw me easily change. All I did was add a tag and then they put them in the community. Now let's have somebody register from that custom registration page I just showed you. So boom, it's going to be, we'll call it Jimmy Page at gmail.com. Let's see what happens. Remember, this is the Fluent Forms page / form I made. I made this with Fluent Forms. This is the custom page. Let's see what happens. I'm just going to subscribe. Boom. I'm automatically in the community. Just like that. I'm Jimmy Page. Members, Jimmy Page is a member. So I'm there. What can I see? I can see this. I can see this. I can't see that. I can't see that. Our Fluent CRM, let's see what we got here. Jimmy Page, name, community, tag. It worked, y'all. Now we have 5 here, enroll in community. Yep, 5. So this is how, right now, I would say, until they have integration with, we'll say like WooCommerce and Shortcart for transactional type of access, you definitely need a e-commerce plugin like a WooCommerce or Shortcart. And for integrations outside of WordPress or with other WordPress tools, like using something like a Short Triggers or Uncanny Automator or a Zapier or a webhook, something that will allow us to be able to give people access to the community without it having to be through their default way, or even it doesn't even have to be through Fluent Forms because everybody's not going to be using Fluent Forms, right? But this is stuff I wanted to share with you all and show you while I've been testing this plugin out. It's really, really fast. I mean, hopefully you noticed that. I shouldn't have had to said that it is pretty fast as far as performance is concerned. Matter of fact, I think I'm still logged in as somebody else. Yeah, okay, so okay, so now I should be good. I should be good. I had to do that. Okay, settings, manage courses. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure everything was good. So yeah, we went over the settings. We went over your courses, members. The leaderboard is pretty self-explanatory as far as you can customize these. I think I didn't really go into that deeply inside of the features. So we have the leaderboard right here, but yeah, you can do your points and then you can change the names of these easily. You don't want to write copy, use AI. It's that simple. This is right here is the chat feature. So like I said, it does add a plugin. I had to learn that too, that Fluent Community Chat is a separate plugin. I thought it was just a feature, but it's a separate plugin. And there are no settings on here. So that's another thing too to keep in mind. Fluent Community, there's no settings here in the WordPress admin area. Everything is inside the community itself, as far as that is concerned. And then what else to think about? Yeah, this is something that you don't have to have a subdomain on. For the most part, if you're going to use Buddy Boss, you definitely need a subdomain because with Fluent Community, notice that this is the theme. Now, how they change this up in the future and what they do, that's up to them. But this is the theme. You can change the content and some structure, but not really the layout. You cannot change the layout. You can just customize some of the content within it and the navigation, but you can't change the layout or move this over here, move that. And I believe that that's how they want to have it because that's what Skool is like. You can't change much. You can't do much with that. And so when it comes to Buddy Boss, if you're not using the theme, you have more flexibility. If you're using the Buddy Boss theme, you have limited flexibility, but you have more, it's already set up for you. You don't have to create the UI experience yourself. It's already there. However, it's resource intensive and you probably don't want it on your primary site. You don't want to use Buddy Boss's theme for your main site. You want to use your own theme, a Cadence, a Astra, a Grade Suite, the 2025 theme, whatever. You want to use your own theme for the most part for your primary site. And that's where this makes a difference, that you can use the Fluent Community plugin on your main website because it's using its own theme. And then whatever theme that you want to use for the front facing side of your website, you can use that with Cadence, with the 2024, 2025, with Astra, whatever theme that you want to use. Anything that you want to use, you can use that, and it doesn't affect this, as far as I know. That changes the game because this is a very fast plugin, meaning it's not performance intensive. You can have your own hosting. I suggest you use fast hosting, use a managed hosting platform, not necessarily shared hosting, not when it comes to this part, because you're doing too much. If you're taking payments, you have your theme, you're doing email marketing. I mean, you have your community, you're doing email marketing. You're doing too much if you're using shared hosting. Use managed hosting if you want to have a consolidated way of managing your website. So that's why I use InstaWP, Kensta. Now, SiteGround, there's certain hostings that maybe can take the pressure. I don't know, but SiteGround is a pretty good hosting platform. I know that they use xCloud here. I believe they have investment with xCloud. There are so many different hosting platforms you can use that will help you out. But make sure it's fast if you're going to keep this all on one website. And notice how I didn't say anything about a membership plugin. That's another thing too. I did not say anything about a membership plugin. Aren't there members? There's members here, right? In this platform, but we're not using a membership plugin. So you don't have to use a membership plugin to build a community. That's an extra layer of features that you may want to do when it comes to gating content, more specifically on the front side, right? On the front side of your website, use a membership plugin to gate content. When it comes to this part, you don't need a membership plugin for this. As far as I know, it's not necessary. So hopefully you guys learned a little bit of something in this. I know this is long, but I wanted to share with you all what I've been going through and testing this plugin out, and the fact that right now, as far as I know, one of the best customizable ways to get people inside your community is to use Fluent CRM combined with Fluent Forms, the pro version of both, using the pro version, creating your own registration form, right? Not login registration, but you can do both. You can do a login and a registration form. I just did a registration form, creating a registration form, connecting this registration form with Fluent CRM, but also connecting it with your WordPress user, right? Your WordPress users, being able to create a WordPress user through these settings right here, which overall comes in from their integration. They call them their modules: user registration update, and then Fluent CRM. Those two. I created the landing page to this one right here, but you can make your own custom landing page that you want to. And you can even use Zapier. So these are things that I hope that you all got, some juice out of with this particular one. This is not an official review of Fluent Community. It's going to be hard to remember all these different Fluent, it's not going to be as fluent. Remember the Fluent Community, Fluent CRM, Fluent Forms, Fluent Booking. I know there's people who mess up all the time because there's so much, right? They're influenced by the Fluent. But Fluent Community, this is not my official review. This is just kind of an overview and just some of my thought processes of why it's needed, where it's headed, and then just a workflow, a way that you can use this in your own workflow and how you can use this to really build out a community for yourself, hosting on your host of choosing instead of hosting on a Circle hosting platform or a Skool's hosting platform, and not being so resource intensive like a Buddy Boss would be, and not being so bland and outdated like a Buddy Press with a BB Press. Those are things that I wouldn't want to use it for. But that's pretty much it. My name is Maestro Stevens with Iconic Templates, and I'm out. Peace.